with Jowers Family Travels and Adventures, and this is going to be my review slash wrap up video for our cruise on the Carnival Magic. I do have my phone here so I can read some notes that I took so I can kind of talk about all of those things. We went on the cruise at the beginning of November. I don't remember the dates exactly, but we went at the beginning of November. It was me, my husband Robert, our son Cove, who was 14 months old, my mother-in-law Joanne, my sister-in-law Sarah, my mom Betty, and my dad Michael. We all went as a family on the cruise. It was in the Carnival Magic. We went out of the port of Miami, and we live, Robert, Cove, and I, Joanne, and Sarah, we all live south of Charlotte in South Carolina. So that's a long way to Miami, and my parents actually live a little further north in North Carolina, about 2.5 hours north. So Robert and I with Cove, we drove down, and my mom and dad drove down separate. Sarah and Joanne flew in. So our cruise left on a Sunday this year. So it left on a Sunday, and we left from where we live Friday night. We thought we were going to drive through the night, get to Miami on Saturday with a 14-month-old. That definitely didn't work. We drove about 4 hours in until our son just could not stand it anymore, and we stopped, I think we were in Brunswick, Georgia, somewhere in that area, and we got a hotel for the night and then got up the next morning and drove the rest of the way to Miami. My parents had already made it there because they drove and made it to Melbourne, Florida on Friday. We knew with going with a 14-month-old we would need to give ourselves plenty of time to get down there because they don't like to stay in a car seat and they want to move. So we made sure we gave ourselves a big enough cushion that we could stop and let him play, get out and walk around. On our way down there Friday night, we thought he would sleep. He did not sleep well in that car seat. So we know that for next time, do not try and drive through the night. So we got up that Saturday morning and left from Georgia and made it the rest of the way. He did amazing on the way down there. Amazing. So I think we only stopped twice. So we ate breakfast at the hotel, drove until lunchtime. We stopped at a Chick-fil-A. We took our sweet time at Chick-fil-A. We got food. We let him play. He'd come back and eat some more. We probably spent an hour and a half at Chick-fil-A letting him eat and play and just taking our time so he would be nice and tired. Sorry, my kitty cat, Killian, is trying to help out with the video here. We took our sweet time. My parents were still driving too. And then we got back in the car and we started to drive some more. So I think we only stopped one more time, and then we didn't stop once we got like on the Florida Turnpike, the toll road. We didn't stop again until Miami, and I think we got down to Miami probably around 4 or 5, enough time to get there. He was running around in the room having fun. Joanne and Sarah had already flown in, so they flew in. They flew on Saturday, the day before the cruise. They flew in to Miami, and they got to the hotel, of course, before us. So mom and dad got there before us. They went ahead and got us checked into our room so we would have it, and we got there and Cove ran around. And that was great. Let's see if there's anything I'm missing from my notes. So once we got there, we had plenty of room. My dad is a truck driver, like I've said before in one of my videos, and he stays in hotels a lot and gets tons of points. So thanks, Dad, for the hotel room because he got us one with points. And we actually got one that was considered a suite because we had the room that was a bedroom, and then also the room that was like a sitting room with, it had like a refrigerator and a microwave and a sink area, a couch that made out into a bed, and a TV. So we had plenty of room for Cove to run around. We love the hotel. If we ever go to Miami on another cruise, which we probably will, we'll be staying at this hotel. It was the Wingate by Wyndham Airport. It was a really nice hotel. The price was not bad. I did look up. My mother-in-law and sister-in-law paid for their room. Not that bad to stay there. You can leave your car parked there for 7 days for free. Really nice area. We were not worried about our car. We left our car and my parents' car. We left them there with no issues. They do have a shuttle to the cruise port, and that was $12 per person. If you have a small kid like Cove, they don't make you pay for that. The hotel will set that up for you. You pay the driver when he gets there. $12 per person. And then with the driver, you can talk to him and he will schedule a pickup, or like to pick you up from port when you're back to bring you back to the hotel. And that's also $12 per person. Definitely worth it. The first van was a little old and the air conditioning didn't work really well, but the second one was really, really nice. So we would definitely use them again. My sister and mom and dad, my sister and her 3 kids and husband, they're all going on the Carnival Horizon November 2019. They're going to be staying at the same hotel and doing all of that because it was really nice, new hotel, really safe, very good to keep your car parked there while you're going on the cruise. A lot cheaper than if you were going to park at the port. Let's see. So I guess that's all for the hotel. Now we'll start with getting on the ship, what we did. So we did get faster to the fun. I think that time when we were there, they had sent out an email asking us to arrive to the port an hour later than originally scheduled. So we had a scheduled time, but since we had faster to the fun, we didn't have to abide by that scheduled time. So we I think the hotel had 2 shuttles, and we took the later shuttle, which was supposed to be 10:45. It picked us up at 11, so more at 11. We were at the port around 11:40, I think, is when they dropped us off. We did our luggage with the porter, walked on with Faster the Fun. We had super short lines. Getting through everything was very, very easy, especially since we did our check-in online. Highly suggest checking in online. We were on board by 12:20 and actually walking into our room. So our room was ready when we got on because we had Faster to the Fun. So when we got to the port, they were not boarding yet. And we probably waited in a Faster to Fun line after we'd already completely checked in and everything. 10 or 15 minutes, maybe. And then they let us get on. And since we had a stroller with our son, we got to use elevators and stuff while everyone else was going up escalators and stairs. Our room on the ship, we had a balcony room. It was room 8308. With having Cove, normally we don't do a balcony, but we thought since having a 14-month-old, we would need the extra space, and we're really glad we did. He loved being on that balcony and looking out and seeing stuff. Even with bringing the crib in the room, which does take up space, we still had enough room for him to play, room to sit on the couch, on the bed. So if you can, it's in the budget, I would definitely suggest being able to get a balcony room if you have a small child. It saved a ton of room. So let's see. We had 4 ports of call on this cruise. So we had Amber Cove, which is in the Dominican Republic, St. Thomas, San Juan. We were supposed to go to Grand Turk. That was canceled, and they took us to Nassau. So I'm going to go through the different ports and kind of what we did there. So Amber Cove, Dominican Republic. This was my first time being here. Robert's first time. Of course, Sarah and Joanne. My mom and dad have been here before, but they did an excursion riding buggies, the dune buggy thing. So they did that last time. This time, since Amber Cove has a free pool splash pad, they have a basketball area for kids to play, big tic-tac-toe. I think they have a big chessboard. We knew this was going to be an easy, relaxed day, and we were not going to spend money and do stuff that day. So we got there super leisure that morning, ate breakfast, took our time getting off the boat, got there, plenty of seats. We were the only ship in port that day. Plenty of chairs. We even found some in the shade. It was in the shade at the time. As the day went on, they were not in the shade anymore. Close to the kids' splash area, which Cove really enjoyed. They had a bigger slide for some of the kids. They had smaller slides. They had racer slides. Just an area with water coming down. We did all of that. And then they had the big pool. The pool is huge. And then they have a swim up bar that you can go to. The drinks there are really expensive. If I remember correctly, Robert was going to get me a pina colada and it was going to be like $19, and I said no. Robert and Dad got a bucket of beer and they shared that, and I think for 5 beers it was $20. So that's much better. So the drinks there are really expensive. We didn't get any food, so I don't know prices on food, but I'm assuming if the drinks are that expensive, the food probably was too. We had a blast. It was a super relaxing day. We watched the people on the zip line, because they have a zip line there. They do have 2 water slides. Unfortunately, you can't take a GoPro on the water slide. That wasn't on the rules and regulations, but when I got up there, they told me I couldn't bring it on with me. I did the water slide one time because I wanted to go spend the time with Cove in the pool, and especially since I couldn't video or record anything, it kind of took the fun away from being able to go down the slide. I was the only person that went down the slide. No one else really wanted to. We did that. Then Cove was worn out and we started walking around and looking at the different shops. We walked right outside the port. They have like area like where the taxis and stuff pick up, and there was like a local band there playing. Cove really enjoyed listening to them. And then we just walked out. They had some Christmas decorations. We turned around and walked back. Of course, had to show our IDs and stuff to get back into the port. And then we went back on the ship. So that was just a really easy port day. St. Thomas was our next port, which was the next day. St. Thomas definitely was not my favorite one. I don't know what I was expecting. I don't know if we would have done an excursion, if I would have a different opinion on St. Thomas. I definitely want to go back and try something else. But with having Cova and having a 14-month-old, I really didn't want to get in a taxi, open air taxi with him, and pack all the stuff that I would need to pack if we were going to go like to the beach or something. So Robert and I, we all did something different that day. So Robert and Cove and I walked around the port that was right there. Joanne and Sarah walked up to the Paradise Point, like the little tram, it's not a tram, like the gondolas that you ride up to Paradise Point. They did that, and Mom and Dad actually did, when they got off the boat, there were some people offering an excursion, like $20 or $25, and they drive you around and show you all of the main areas of St. Thomas. They enjoyed that. They got to see Megan's Bay. They got to go up to Paradise Point, and they got a banana daiquiri. Took them around some other areas. They really enjoyed that. Sarah and Joanne really enjoyed riding the gondola up, being able to see the pretty view, and they took pictures of the 3 cruise ships that were in port that day. They had fun. Robert and I literally got out. We walked. It was very like uneven. Where we were, I felt was dirty. And we just walked and walked and walked. We walked all the way up to a Kmart, and Cova had a little bit of a runny nose then and was coughing. So I was looking for medicine for him. The Kmart did not have it. We kind of walked around the Kmart. We walked into a convenience store, and Robert got some beer because it was cheaper, and he drank that while we walked around. We walked back to the port, walked around the different shops and stuff, and that was kind of all we did. We found this really nice little shack looking thing right as you're walking off of the cruise ship. They had really good drinks. Robert said the food was okay. Their drinks were not that expensive. Robert got a painkiller and got it extra strong. He liked it. So Robert spent time there. So on our way back, we stopped back there. He wanted to get another drink and look for some conch fritters. So he stopped there and ate, and Cove and I hung out for a little while. And then we actually got back on the boat, and Robert hung out there a little bit longer. That day we did get to port, I think around noon. So it was definitely later. So we had the morning to just relax and not even rush and do anything. So the next day was San Juan, Puerto Rico. Also my first time going to San Juan. It was really hilly. So was St. Thomas. Both were hilly. But San Juan was hilly. We walked to the fort that was close by. Like literally, like you can walk straight off the boat and up to the fort. Fort San Cristobal is the one we went to. We had a lot of fun. We pushed Cova around. That fort is huge. We could have spent more time there, but Cova was just getting really tired and wanted to go back to the boat. And Joanne had actually offered to take Cova back to the boat so Robert and I could walk around. We did meet up with Sarah after we went to the fort because she did not go to the fort with us. And we walked to a restaurant called Barchina, and that is where the first pina colada was made. Or they had a contest and it won for best pina colada, something like that. So we had pina colada. Robert had a whole fried red snapper. I had a cheeseburger because I'm not adventurous. And we really enjoyed that. Puerto Rico was so nice and pretty, and the streets were awesome. It was so nice, and we felt safe to just get off the boat and walk around. And as soon as we got off the boat that morning, there was a CVS that was right there. So we walked up to CVS. They had the medicine for Cove. I got it and gave it to him like as soon as we walked outside. I loved Puerto Rico. I cannot wait to go back to San Juan and do something else there. Mom and Dad, so Dad had hurt his ankle somehow in St. Thomas, and he went to CVS. He got off the boat after us. He went to CVS and found an ankle brace, and he knew he didn't want to do a lot of walking, so they didn't go to the fort with us because it was a ton of walking. And then they did another one of those little tours right outside the bus. I think they paid $25 for a 2-hour tour, and they took them around to see different things. So Mom and Dad really enjoyed doing that. Robert really liked San Juan. He did not like, let's see, I didn't go through his points. So at Amber Cove, Robert didn't enjoy it at all. He feels like when we go somewhere like that, we're trapped and they just want us to spend money there. He likes places where we can walk around. St. Thomas, Robert liked that we could just get out and walk around. He also felt that it was dirty. In San Juan, Robert really enjoyed San Juan. He had the most fun in San Juan, and the one word he used to describe it was freedom, because we could literally just walk wherever we wanted to walk in San Juan, and we felt safe. So Grand Turk was supposed to be the next day after San Juan. And in San Juan, I somehow hurt my back walking. We were walking back to the boat and I felt my back like just really tense up, and I could not move hardly. So I'm kind of glad we didn't go to Grand Turk the next day. Like 5:30 in the morning, they saw a flare and had like a distress signal, and since we were the closest to the distress signal, they sent us to look. So we were looking probably until 10 or 10:30 in the morning, until the Coast Guard released us because we didn't find anything, and they came over and announced that we were not going to be going to Grand Turk because it would be such a shortened visit. It wouldn't be worth it for us. And we were actually going to be able to go to Nassau the next day, which is fine. I've been to Nassau multiple times. I like Nassau. A lot of people don't, but I really like Nassau, and I was fine with that. I did get really frustrated with people who were complaining about not being able to go to Grand Turk. Their plans were ruined. Their vacation was ruined. How dare the cruise line help look for people who could be stranded out in the middle of the ocean? I'm sorry, human life is more important than stopping somewhere and having a beach day. I was just really frustrated with that. I didn't care. My back was hurting, so it was fine. I had acupuncture that day. Made me feel a million times better. I was able to have fun in Nassau. So we get to Nassau. I think we get there a little bit. I think we got there at noon, somewhere in there. So Robert and I didn't have a plan for this. Normally I try and plan each port. I did not have a plan for Nassau because it was an unplanned port. But I had done so much research before. I knew there was a hotel close to the port within walking distance that allowed kids that we could get a day pass. It was called the British Colonial Hilton, and you literally walk out of the cruise port, turn right, and follow that road all the way around past Senior Frogs, and right there is the British Colonial Hilton. The day pass for an adult was $79 per person, and that you get a $40 food and drink credit. So for Robert and I, we had an $80 food and drink credit since there was 2 of us. Cove was free because he was under, I think 2 or 3 is what they do. Robert and I both have been to Nassau before. He doesn't mind Nassau, but he felt, the hotel was overpriced. Of course it is, because it's a tourist thing. The drinks were overpriced because they don't want you to use too much of your food and beverage credit. But the hotel was perfect. It has its own little beach out front. so we could give Kova his beach day. We took his little beach toys. He sat there letting the water like come up and hit him and played in the sand forever. Crawled around, was not scared to get in the water. I think we were there from we got there around 2 and we stayed until our pass was done, which was around 5. And it was enough time for us. Like, Kova was tired, we were tired, we swam in the pool. Robert did end up getting a little bit of food with our money because I'm just not like a very big drinker anyway, so I got like 1 drink. Robert got a couple, and then we used the rest on food. Fed Kova with that too, swam in the pool. On our way back, we walked through a couple shops, got back on the boat, and we really enjoyed Nassau. Like, I really enjoyed that. I was so glad Kova got to spend time at the beach because Grand Turk was going to be our beach day. But then, since we didn't go, we didn't have a beach day. I really enjoyed that. So on the ship, things that we did. So since Kova was under 2, he could not go to Camp Carnival. And I knew that going on the boat that he could not go to Camp Carnival because he was under 2. They do have special times for under 2 that parents can bring their kids into Camp Carnival to play. They also have times where you can pay to take your kids there and they'll watch them. We did not do that. We knew we were not going to do that going on. But that under 2 time to take the kids there was awesome. Kova ran out a ton of energy. Kova, I learned this on there, was not allowed in the splash pad area because the ship uses salt water for the pools and the splash area, and if your kid is not completely potty trained, they're not allowed there because of accidents, because if they have an accident, they have to shut down the whole thing. So I know that for next time, not to take him in there if he's not potty trained. The arcade was an awesome place to take Kova because there's tons of things lighting up and for him to play with and hit buttons, and we didn't have to spend any money because it's still lighting up and making noise no matter what. And it was really long on Magic, so he was able to like run up and down, and that was a good place to take him to just burn some energy. Also, deck 5 on the Carnival Magic goes all the way around the ship, but we stayed on the port side because that's the non-smoking side. So we would let him walk around the ship, like just walk up and down and burn energy that way, and he loved it because the sides they're all glass and he can like look out and see. He really enjoyed doing that. The dining room staff was amazing with him. The staff in any of the restaurants, Lido, we went to the pasta bar, something Del Capitano, we went there. Everyone was just amazing with him, bringing us high chairs, making sure he had food, bringing milk for his sippy cup. He loved everybody that he met. Only people he didn't like were the Dr. Seuss characters. They were scary looking. The Dr. Seuss breakfast, highly recommend that. We had a blast. Can't wait to take him when he's a little older and not scared of the characters so we can actually get pictures. Things that I packed but I didn't use were the over-the-door shoe organizer. I used that when I went with Sarah, but I guess since it was Robert and I going, there was not as much bathroom stuff, and I really didn't need it. I did not need the over-the-door shoe organizer. I did not use it this time. Now, if maybe you have multiple girls in the cabin, like when Sarah and I went a couple years ago, it was really handy for all of our bathroom stuff. So with Kova and Robert and I did not need it. What else? The baby monitor. I thought we might use the baby monitor if Kova was going to sleep and Mom and Dad were across the hall and going to watch him, or I was going to sit out on the balcony. Did not need it. There was no need for me to pack the baby monitor, and I took too many clothes for myself. That always happens, so I know next time to not pack so many clothes for me. Things I'm glad I packed that I was second guessing packing, but so glad that I did. Snacks for Kova. I know there's unlimited food on a cruise ship, but I took things Kova loves. The little applesauce squeezy pouches, took those. He loves also like the Gerber like little crunchies that look like little cheese doodles. He loves those. Goldfish, snacks that I know he wants and that are easy for me to pack and take with me into port. So I took those. bug spray. We took our own bug spray, thank goodness, because all those ports have mosquitoes. Laundry detergent, because I thought I packed more than enough clothes for Kova, but he's a baby and gets dirty, and I started running out of clothes. So really glad I packed laundry detergent, and I actually did laundry on the cruise ship on the day we were supposed to go to Grand Turk that turned into a sea day. So glad that I did that. Toys, I definitely packed enough toys for Kova. It wasn't too many. It was enough that kept his attention. And in our room, we have a little spot that is like a shelf, and I was able to like kind of tuck all of his toys into that. And then the pool float for the ports we were in. So in Amber Cove, we used the pool float, and in Nassau, we used the pool float, and it was perfect. It had a shade on it so we could keep him out of the sun, and we're really glad we packed that. Something I wish I had packed before going, the little inflatable tubs to go in the shower, because Kova does not enjoy taking a shower, and it was much harder, and he really enjoys bath time, so I wish I would have packed an inflatable tub for him to have his bath time. Because once we were on our way home from Miami, he loved being in a bath in the hotel room on the way back. So getting off of the cruise ship, since we had Faster to Fun, we could have gotten off one of the very first zones. We chose not to because we thought we were going to need more time that morning, so we chose a later zone. I think there were 5 zones after us to go. That was a terrible idea. So many people were getting off the boat then. It took forever. There was also 5 cruise ships in the port of Miami that day. So people getting off of cruise ships and people getting on. It was really, really busy. So when we got off, we get down to the luggage carousel, to where it said our luggage would be, and going on the carousel, what zone we were. We got 3 of our bags, but the 4th one was missing. We did not find it anywhere, and it was Kova's bag with his stuff. I was like, where in the world could it be? Mom and Dad got all of their bags except for one as well. And Robert and Dad sat there until we saw the same suitcase go by us 3 times. And we were like, okay, where in the world is our luggage? So then I told Robert and Dad, I was like, hey, walk to the other luggage carousel and see if it just happened to get put on the wrong one. Sure enough, both of the suitcases were put on the wrong luggage carousel. So we got all of our luggage. Now it was time to wait in the customs line. That was so long. Such a long line. It took so much time to get through that. So probably from the time we got off the boat until we got all the way through customs was an hour and a half. If we would have got off the boat earlier, it would have been so much easier. So if you can get an earlier time to get off the boat, that's a really good idea, because that ate into so much of our time that day. Mom and Dad were going to drive halfway back. We were going to drive halfway back. Sarah and Joanne were just going to meet at the hotel because they were flying out the next day on that Monday. It was so hot that day. We got out, and it took probably another 30 or 40 minutes for our shuttle to get there. We called him, and they said because of the new cruise ship, they had the tunnel shut down that day. It was taking them forever to get there. So they finally got there, and by the time we even got to the hotel, it was probably, I think it was 1:30. So a bunch of time had already been taken up for driving that day. Mom and Dad ended up just deciding to stay in Miami that night. Instead of driving part of the way, Robert and I decided we were going to drive part of the way because we only had Monday to drive to get home. So we drove up to, I think we made it to like Daytona, and then we got a hotel room for the night, and then we drove from Daytona back to home that next day. Overall, it was an amazing cruise. Cruising with a 14-month-old is definitely a completely different ball game than just cruising with you and your husband, or you and your parents when you go, or having a girls trip. It is so different. I've never been tired on vacation before, and I was tired from taking care of him, because anyone that has kids know away from home is so much harder than at home. Would I do it again? Absolutely. The memories we made and the things we got to experience together, I cannot wait to be able to do it again. So hopefully, we're hoping, fingers crossed, that we will get to go on the Carnival Magic November 2019 with my sister, her husband, and 3 kids, my mom and dad, Robert, Cove, and I, really hoping that we're going to get to go. Because that would be an amazing trip for Cove to go with his cousins and me to get to go with my sister. My oldest sister might get to go. So just be this big family vacation, and we're really hoping to go. I'm hoping that you guys enjoyed my videos. Any comments or critiques, I would love to hear them because I want to make these videos better. Please subscribe and give a thumbs up to my videos, and see you next time.